All right, welcome everybody to the first class of the term for Mishlei. We're starting chapter 1, verse 3, and we're here with Shannon and Drew. Drew's going to be live on the microphone. We're still technically between semesters, so people will stroll in throughout the weeks, but that doesn't bother Drew. He's here and ready to start. Drew's a Sfati. He's from Sfat now.
That's right.
As my Rosh Hashiva used to say, if whoever's here is here, and whoever's here needs to be here.
Perfect.
And the other thing he used to say is, I'm here and I'm serious. Well, that's us. All right, let's go. Do you have your Proverbs available and open?
Yeah, I'm opening up right now.
All right.
Chapter 3?
Chapter 1, verse 3.
Oh, okay.
All right. This is all new territory. We've not even touched this verse. The only problem with this, I'm in my new house in Modine, which you probably know by now, right?
Uh-huh, right.
The only problem is there's no air conditioning in my office.
Oh, no. Is it hot today?
It's hot.
Yeah.
Once my mother goes back to America, then I'll be able to open up my door and use the living room air conditioner. Until then, I suffer. It's a good house, but the office isn't exactly the same as the old one.
Right.
All right, Shannon, there you are. Who's here? Is this really Shannon, or is Travis with you? Hi, Rav. I'm listening. Okay. Travis is Lopo, not here. Ifo Travis. Loved bavoda? Nachon. Loved bavoda. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and read the English, Drew.
Verse 3?
Verse 3. Chapter 1, verse 3. Go ahead.
To accept wise discipline, righteousness, justice, and fairness.
All right. So that's horrible. Again, one of the laws of the class is we read the English, and then we trash the English.
Okay.
Because that's our goal, is to take the status quo English, and we're going to blow it up in Hebrew to something fierce. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And it's going to take months to get through this. Many months. What you just read, we will be done with that in 6 months.
Okay.
Not a joke. We do like each word at a time, and then we double it in the English. We look it up in the English.
Okay.
And we go through the etymologies, the definitions, you name it. So real quick, let me bring up an image. I forgot to do that first day. Let's see. All the classes are available on download if you want to get the last season.
Okay.
Okay. We have it in some kind of evaluation thing. What does ESV stand for? Is that some kind of church thing?
ESV? I have no clue.
Everyone's got the crosses on this stuff. That's why I hate it like this.
Oh, English Standard Version?
Well, this was a kosher one. Usually it's the Christian sites that put up these images. But now I found a Jewish one. It's not coming through. Hold on. Let's see. Come on. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, save image. Mishlei 1, 3. Open. Choose. Okay, I'm actually having you reread it just for being standard here. Go ahead and read it according to the image, just so we can get a flow.
To receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and equity.
Is that the same or different from yours?
It's a little different. I said to accept wise discipline, righteousness, justice, and fairness.
Okay, say yours again real slow. As part of what we do also, we start and stop a lot in order to really milk out the means. We'll always look for my my command to go start and stop. Are you going to be a regular in this class?
Yeah, I'd like to. If obviously if I'm.
Can I count on you to be my right-hand man for the season?
Sure.
All right, so this is the relationship we're going to have. So I'm kind of like the navigator and my vocal, and you're driving the car.
Okay.
Right? Look for me to start and stop you at will. Yeah?
Okay.
So again, go ahead and read the screen real slow. And then again, the goal is for us to really get in the rhythm, the mochen of the words. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's out of the realm of English and language and grammar. We always try to find the natural openings in the language. See, they exist. There's motion. There's just openings and closings and motion. That's how language works. So go ahead and read it again real slow.
To accept wise discipline.
I stop. So you said to accept wise discipline.
Uh-huh.
And the question would be, how is that different from receive instruction? So that's going to be an issue. Keep going.
Righteousness.
So actually it's to receive instruction in wise behavior. Okay? So read the first part again.
To accept wise discipline.
Okay, so to accept wise discipline. To receive instruction in wise behavior. Interesting. Go ahead.
Righteousness.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah.
And fairness.
So fairness versus equity. All right. See, we're getting a super conscious position. See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Sure.
Why is one person so bothered this way and another person is bothered that way? They're not insane. Right. So there's a reason why they're so motivated to go the way they do. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's mazel. The way it comes out, that's what the power of writing. Mm-hmm. They really feel that it's equity. I don't know. I mean, do you know what equity means? I don't.
Equality? Yeah.
No, equity.
I mean,
would you be willing to bet your life you know what it means? Probably not.
Probably not, no.
Right. So that's the thing, is this person said it without thinking about it, which means he didn't have to bet his life. He just said it.
Right.
So for you to understand what he meant, you don't have that ability. Mm-hmm. Right? Because your text didn't say that. So you're not there. And then if I challenge you and say, what does equity mean? I know you know at least one definition, right? But how do you know which definition he meant?
That's true, especially based off the Hebrew. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have no idea what you're talking about. None. And that's the premise of the class, is to get to the point where you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Then when you analyze it and come back through, like thread the needle again or go back in the same hole, then you start to realize what's going on. See? Mm-hmm. So it's a nice place to get to. It's where you just rip it apart and come back together. All right. So we do base this off of the Vilna Gaon's commentary. So the very end, we put it back in the words of the Vilna Gaon, just so you know. Okay. All right. And the real cream of verse 2 was mastering the universal concept of understanding. Meaning we want to really understand. See, the last word is bina. Lahavin imrei bina. Understand words of understanding. Right? And again, we ripped that apart to no end. So you want to get to the point really where you're not able to speak because you realize that you're incriminating yourself on the words you say. You see what I'm saying? You realize that you're not using the right words, which just means that you're aware of what you say, even though you're not being totally clear. There's another level where you lose the words themselves and you just convey meaning. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
But you start trying to use the words, but then you gotta go higher to where words just don't matter, right? And so you lose that. The word is makbid in Hebrew. You just don't care anymore. You want to convey the meaning.
Okay.
Because the words are so rigid, you will never be able to do it unless you base it on scriptural terms. But people don't speak Lashon HaKodesh, right? Scriptural Hebrew, so it's a moot point.
Right.
All right, now let's see if I can translate this and make sense out of what we're doing. All right, so we have lakachat musar hasechel. So I would call that, in very base terms, to take wise. How do you say? What's the best translation in my mind for musar? To take intelligent instruction. How did I fare?
Sounds good.
I would say to take intelligent instruction.
Mm-hmm.
And this said to receive instruction in wise behavior. Not exactly, but close. How's yours again?
To accept wise discipline.
All right, so we're all. This is where we're all at. Tzedek. That is certainly not righteousness. I know why they said that, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's more. How would you say that? It's like true, like the true path, not true like false true, but like Drew. I want you to stay on the true path.
Right.
Mishpat. That's like the right path. You know, don't go off the path.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how does he translate it? Justice.
Justice.
See, that's so generic. That's like saying to a kid, "What do you want for your birthday?" "I want a dinosaur." You know, it's cliche. It's not really true. And for Meishaarim, that's a real hard one. That's really hard. Tzedek umishpat umisharim. L'kakat musar asek tzedek umishpat. L'kakat musar asek tzedek. So the to take intelligent instruction. The instruction should be true instruction, the right instruction, and upright instruction. Right? Okay. I want you to stay on the path. I don't want you to go on another path. And it's got to be the best path. So he's got righteousness wrong, justice wrong, and equity. I don't even know what that means. And you know what we'll do? Just since we're introducing the series today, unless you can think of something better when you give your words, I want to look up equity because I have no idea what he means. What are your words? Translate your pasuk again and compare it with mine. Go ahead.
To accept wise discipline, righteousness, justice, and fairness.
Yes, I don't like it. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong. Now in Aramaic, lemekabla mardusa. See, we'd have to look up mardusa. I don't know what mardusa is. Desuchla, tzidkasa. See, in the Aramaic, tzidkasa is righteousness, I think. We've got to look that up. So he might be right. Dina. Now, Dina is not mishpat.
Mm-hmm.
That's something a little different. That's like I'm on the right path and you're not. See what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's din.
Din, right.
I have the ability to say I'm on the right path, Drew, and you're clearly not.
Mm-hmm.
That's a powerful statement for me to say that.
Sure.
You see? V'tirutsusa. See, I'd have to look that word up too. Let me just run the bathroom real quick and be right back. But then I want to start with equity. Is that a good call for you too?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Right, and I think more than we know what fairness means. I know why he said it. I have no idea what equity is. So
I looked up equity here, so I can.
All right, hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, let's see what equity means. I usually use Merriam-Webster, just keep it standard.
Okay.
And then we use the etymology website as well. So hold on 1 second. Okay. So go. Merriam. So you have that link on Merriam?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Okay, so remember, I'm going to start and stop you at will. So go ahead and start, and then we're going to go ahead. Start from the simple definition, and then just go real slow and watch my lead. Go ahead.
Fairness or justice in the way people are treated.
See, that's interesting because as I was thinking the finance part,
mm-hmm.
right? I never would have thought equity, like you said, equality. That's what I was saying.
Right.
So I never. I mean, you can guess it's okay, but I never thought of it that way.
It does have the other meaning, obviously, of like
Right.
Fine.
Well, that's the thing. That's what everybody uses that. See, that's what I'm saying. You would know one definition, but you wouldn't know the other.
Right.
When you fairness, I wouldn't have thought that was a synonym of equity
mm-hmm.
at all. I I would not have bet that at all. Would you?
Yeah, I could see that.
But would you have predicted that?
No.
Exactly.
Wouldn't have been like my go-to word, but I can see that how you used it.
100%. But when you said fairness, I would have said, oh, you mean kind of like equity?
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
So fairness or justice in the way people are treated. So we have a business at a factory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're complaining that I'm treating everyone not the same, equal.
Mm-hmm.
And you demand the equity, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You say that I don't give you a lunch break, and you want justice.
Right.
Okay? Then you would say, it's not fair, we only get 20 minutes. We need 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Now, why would you call that equity, that concept? It has to be equity. Let's hold that thought. Go ahead and read the finance part.
The value of a piece of property after any debts that remain to be paid for it have been subtracted.
Read it again.
The value of a piece of property after any debts that remain to be paid for it have been subtracted.
Okay, so it's truly redeemed.
Yeah, the actual value of something.
Yeah, it's real. It's really, really real. It's not exploited or anything. It's really real.
Or a share in a company. A share in a company's stock.
Well, why is that? Share in a company. The company, I want your money, and it's in exchange, because I wouldn't be anything without your money. Mm-hmm. So in exchange for that, I'm going to make you believe that you really matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you part of my company so that you give me money. Now, the only way that agreement works, because I'm going to get a lot of people's money, and I'm going to get really big, and you demand justice, again, and fairness the way you're treated. Right? You're only big because I gave it to you. So I have to give you something that valuable, which is a share of my stock. So again, it's a fairness or justice. Now, I can see how those two go together, but why the value of a real piece of property? Why is that called equity? I don't see that on a superficial level. Let's go down to the definition, and it's long, and see what they do. Go ahead.
The full definitions?
Yeah.
Justice according to natural law or right, specifically freedom from bias or favoritism.
All right, that's interesting. Freedom from bias. That's a nice concept, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I've been suffering from bias a lot in my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wrestling team in Ohio called St. Paris Graham. And they're always one of the top 5 teams in the country. And I want them to be the number 1 team every year. And my website, Flow Wrestling, is always like, people from Ohio, get a life. Your team is not the best team this year. And I'm like, why? It's St. Paris Graham. Why? And then I realized, look at me. Why am I willing to say that all these other kids that work hard are not as good as my guys because simply I'm from Ohio? Isn't that pathetic?
Well, it's not objective.
It's not objective at all. But then, look, do you follow sports at all?
Not really, no.
So, but imagine if a team was undefeated, right?
Uh-huh.
And some marginal team beat the team. Everyone's like, how can it be? You ruined our perfect season.
Right.
Well, did you ever think maybe I earned it?
Yeah, right.
Why are you upset? I mean, seriously, it's such a pathetic concept, bias. And we do, it's pathetic. So equity is free from bias.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible thing. You know, you're an employee of mine, and I really don't like you. But I'm going to give you the 45 minutes like everybody else that I like.
Exactly.
It's a really great idea, free from bias. Now, that's called equity. So that's a nice term. It's a high-level term, isn't it? Justice according to natural law or right. That's like what Job's dream is. This is Job. He was like dying for equity. That's what he was complaining. He's saying, where's the equity?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any equity. None.
Right.
Okay? So something, go ahead. So go ahead and read the next one.
A system of law originating.
1B.
Oh, B? Something that is equitable?
Something that is equitable. Equity is something that is equitable. Equity is something that is equitable. It has to be equitable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My kids are better than yours, Drew. You know that.
Yes.
Why? Because I will never love your kids like mine.
Right.
And that's acceptable. Right? It's okay. It's not an equitable discussion.
Sure.
You know, you say, well, my kid made the soccer team. What am I going to say? Well, Ruben made the wrestling team, Drew. Right? It's just where that's not – if you say, well, I don't want to hang out with you because you're always talking about your kid and not talking about my kid, and my kid is clearly superior in soccer to your kid in wrestling. That is not an equitable discussion. You're actually in the wrong for rebuking me because you're trying to get justice where there is no justice.
Okay.
So look at that. Look how many discussions and arguments are not equitable. Who's the better candidate for presidency? Sorry, not equitable at all.
Right.
Zero equity. Yeah, most arguments are not equitable.
You're right.
So, Job's arguments were not equitable in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be equitable. It has to be equitable. It has to be worth. So that's why your land is called equity, because it's equitable. All right, I want to buy something off you, right? And you say, "What do you got?" Well, look, Drew, I have no money, but I own this property.
Right.
You know for a fact that I'm good for the money.
Exactly.
There's no bias. The check's not coming in the mail, right?
Right.
It's more than solid gold.
Yeah, it's an actual asset that has real value.
It is as real as it comes. There's no favoritism. There's no bias. It is completely and equitable. So that's a great term, isn't it?
It is.
Equity and equitable. It's the real currency of this world. It's like if you want to have a real discussion with someone, and how do you know when you have a true friend? That's just a question. How do you know when you have a true friend? Everyone says, if you have 5 true friends in this world, it was worth it, right?
Right.
Well, what system? The answer is equity. You are worth as much as your true equity, or your equitable equity. I lost my pronunciation. How do you say equity? Equitable equity.
There you go.
Good to it. Go ahead and read to it.
A system of law originating in the English Chancery and comprising a settled and formal body of legal and procedural rules and doctrines that supplement, aid, or override common and statute law, and are designed to protect rights and enforce duties fixed by substantive law.
That's fantastic. This explains why the British Empire was so great. It dealt with equity.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, nobody wants to deal with reality and equity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, look at America. How many trillion in debt? Britain was born, according to this, of dealing with equity.
Yeah.
That's the secret. If you can amass equity, who is rich? Forget Kirkiavos. Who is rich is he who has equity.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. To be.
Yeah, English Chancery, too, probably has something to do with land ownership. I would imagine that's...
Exactly. That's the whole thing. They really, the land of England where English language was conceived, this explains what they were on about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm reading this book about the history of language for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
English was from England because everybody, they really, I don't know why, but the invaders to England, it was all about really acquiring the English land.
Right.
Saxons and the Nordics and everything.
And the French.
They went there, Dafka, to like get it right. Maybe it was the original America. I don't know in terms of that.
Right.
And the English was born out of that. And like you're saying, the English Empire was all about the land. I mean, that's like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The common land versus the own land. Go ahead, Tubi.
Trial or remedial justice under or by the rules and doctrines of equity.
Yeah, hold on one second. Okay, some guy's trying to get in the classroom. Read it again. Sorry.
Trial or remedial justice under or by the rules and doctrines of equity.
Okay, so really, the true judge system is supposed to be equity.
Mm-hmm.
So the American judge it's supposed to be equity.
And they even said that, the doctrines supplement, aid, or override the common law. So if there's a, if there's a contradiction, or if there's I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but if there's a problem, then equity overrides it. Right?
You got to get it to the equity.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. 2C.
A body of legal doctrines and rules developed to enlarge, supplement, or override a narrow, rigid system of law.
Wow. So if America was to do the Constitution, it would have to be something equitable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tall task.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's so vast. So the Torah has to be, if the Torah is a divine doctrine and system, it has to be equitable. Is the Torah equitable? Obviously, the answer we say is yes.
Right.
That's the mastery of the Torah of Moses. It is that vast, and it is an equitable system.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, 3.
A right, claim, or interest existing or valid in equity.
Read it again.
A right, claim, or interest existing or valid in equity.
Yeah, don't make stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The money value of a property or of an interest in a property in excess of claims or liens against it.
Read it again.
The money value of a property or of an interest in a property in excess of claims or liens against it.
So I guess you have to take the system in hand to appraise the value.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, oh wow, so this is, the Vilna Gaon's book that I'm translating, Evan Shlema. You know what Evan Shlema means?
No.
A just weight.
Ah, interesting.
It's illegal to have improper weights.
Mm-hmm.
It means you can't inflate, and you have to have a real equitable system.
Right.
Your money's got to be right, your measures have to be right, because you cannot have equity without an equitable system.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, that's always been a sub-interest of mine, is like the Torah currencies of shekels, and right? That means the Torah has in it the weight systems and measure systems. They must be equitable for the Torah to be of equity.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
A risk, interest, or ownership right in property.
Yeah, you're not really here and playing unless you really have equity to play with.
Right.
Go ahead.
The common stock of a corporation.
Yeah, it's not, the currency has to be worth the standard of equity.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the whole market would collapse from just monopoly money.
And the opposite of that, I believe, but all of the terms involved, I think, is margin, right? Where you're purchasing something not based on real equity.
Right. But then you get into the whole, that's the thing. Once you get off of equity, you're in trouble.
Right.
All right, so now let's go back up to what fairness. Why does it mean fairness? Go back, read that real simple definition again.
Fairness or justice in the way people are treated.
Now that's the odd man out. That doesn't make sense now.
Right. Funny.
So what does it mean? Again, so you're complaining about your lunch break, right?
Right.
And we're saying it's got to be real,
Mm-hmm.
It has to be real. Like just real and real and real. Fairness or justice, the way people are treated. That doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
It is the odd one out. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't get it. So so I don't like you and I like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that, he wants a 20-minute break, but you're only giving us a 20-minute break because you like him. I want 45 minutes, and you don't like me, and that's why you're not doing it.
Right.
So I'm biased. I don't like you. So you say, well, that's not very equitable of you. You're right. I'm not being equitable. So you need to have equity. You need to realize we are in an equitable system, and you're not treating us with equity. So the equitable system is the human condition requires 45 minutes to have lunch, smoke a cigarette, and go back to work.
Right.
You're abusing that. Okay? So that's equitable. And I'm saying you don't need to smoke your cigarette. Go back to work. You're saying, nah, that's not equitable. So if I then make it equitable, okay, I give in. You got your 45 minutes, okay? I'm not being biased, and I'm saying it's equitable now. Now, why is that fairness or justice?
It does seem like the more proper definition is freedom from bias or favoritism.
Exactly. So now how do we find the common ground?
Fairness and justice can be, incorporated within that. I mean, it's an aspect of that, right?
Yeah, that's a tough call. See, I want to really get this straight. That's really not... Maybe you're right. Maybe it's 45 minutes you need, Maybe my friend is just industrious. Maybe he's not even looking into his best interest. He's a workaholic, and he abuses his wife. Mm-hmm. And if he would take those extra 20 minutes, he would calm down. Right? So we all really need 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that's I like that. I like this a lot. You know what it is? How do you know when you're treating someone fair? The answer is life has an equitable system of fairness. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not compromise. You guys in the classroom saying, Rabbi Katz, you're speaking too loud. Some people say he's not speaking loud enough. So I'll say you're being just a little bit too sensitive. The equitable system, if I had insight to that, was I'm actually speaking the right way. And in fact, I'll give you an example. When I had Reuven, I burped him with pretty solid strokes to the back. And my wife was like, "You're going to break his back." I'm like, "You got to be joking me. I mean, you got to burp the kid." So I watched videos on YouTube, and they actually say you're supposed to do it firmly, right?
Right.
And so a lot of women I've found overreact. I mean, I'm sure men do too. I'm just saying, in my experience.
Right.
For example, when getting kids to go to sleep at night, a lot of people think you have to talk quiet to make your kids go to sleep. It's not true. Okay, I'm very loud when I teach. My kids have never woken up once, and there's 400 classes on YouTube to prove it. Meaning, if you give them the non-biased freedom of favoritism, they work. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The world works at a decibel level. When you change that decibel level, like how do you know when a 2-year-old's in trouble? When it goes staunch quiet, right?
You're right. Yeah.
Your kids will wake up when it's quiet. It's a fact. But when you're doffed being quiet. Mm-hmm. So if you complain that I'm too loud with my kids, I'll actually say you're wrong, right? There is fairness or justice that we don't have to suffer in the classroom because youth are paranoid about my kids sleeping. Mm-hmm. So you think you're being a vigilante about my kids sleeping. You're wrong, right? So there is a natural, in this system of creation, an equitable level of decibel levels. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're trying to punish me by talking low. But that's not fair. That's not justice. Now, if I'm abusing my kids by playing heavy metal music at all hours of the night, then you could say that is not equitable. People don't sleep in rave parties, right?
Right.
So, but there is a natural truth in the air. Even though you are lying, saying you need 20-minute break, that is not true. Even though you claim up and down that you only need 20 minutes, you don't. So here's another one. People think that when a loved one dies, they can get over it in a week. No, you can't. Right. Your body is suffering and mourning, even though your emotional state, mental state has convinced you that you're over it. You're a liar, and you're not. You are not. You're biased. You're saying, I hate my ex, therefore I'm glad he's dead. Right? You're wrong. You are in trauma. You are suffering.
Right.
There is an equity of reality. So I gave you the link for the etymology. Please click on it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Real slow.
Is it early 14th century? Is that what they're saying? Quality of being equal or fair, impartiality in dealing with others.
All right, stop. Impartiality. So, yeah, really, the business stuff isn't even the first one they're going to.
Right.
It really is. Wow, this is insane. This is like a table tennis game. Keep going.
From Old French, equite. From Latin, equitatem. Nominative, equitas. Equality, uniformity, conformity, symmetry. That's interesting. Fairness, equal rights, kindness, moderation. From equus, even, just, equal.
So this is Malchus. This is how a king rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is King Solomon's Malchus. You realize that?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It is real Malchus. Keep going.
As the name of a system of law, 1590s, from Roman Naturalis Equitas, the general principles of justice which corrected or supplemented the legal codes.
So you only hate God because you don't follow the law.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're all upset because it's not fair. You're not in accordance with God's law.
Hmm.
What Job had to do was quit pouting and crying and accept God's law.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real answer to Job. He was a liar deep down. We all are, right? Deep down you know that you're lying on most things.
Yeah.
For example, tonight I lied. What was it? I forget. We ran out of the red wine vinegar for my sandwich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had like the cheap plastic bottle vinegar.
Uh-huh.
And I was upset that I forgot to get the red wine vinegar at the store, right? There's like a little bit left in the jar. I had enough for maybe one sandwich. And I was trying to lie to myself, saying, oh, great, I can only have one sandwich now. This is horrible. And I realized 5 minutes in, I'm lying. Why are you not thinking about getting the other vinegar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not red wine vinegar, but you're claiming that there is no other vinegar. That is a false statement. That
Mm-hmm.
will not prevent you from eating your sandwich.
Right.
There's nothing preventing you. You are convincing yourself that you cannot eat unless it's red wine vinegar. That is an outright lie.
Mm-hmm.
That is breaking the law of what's the word again? Equitable. Being equitable.
Yeah.
Of equity. That is, you're breaking laws of equitable equity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have another vinegar, and it's not red wine. But guess what? It's fair. It's uniformity. It's equality. I know you don't consider that, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to ruin your lunch and go drive across town and get a red wine bottle of vinegar, which you don't want to do. So guess what the answer is? Have your second sandwich and say thank you.
Right.
So when you complain about the people that didn't get for you and you run out of things, that's you making it up. You're biased and you're not in the law.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you were crying at work, your boss yelled at you and you're wondering why you almost got fired. And you're going to blame your boss now.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just have the vinegar? Then your boss wouldn't have been triggered off by your bad attitude.
Right.
And on the way home, you got in an accident because your boss yelled at you. Now you called that a bad day. Well, that was you making that up. Then you're going to blame God. Why does God have to do this now when I have bills to pay? Well, you did. You fought God every step of the way. So that's Job. When Job realizes that he made it up, then guess what? God takes it all away and says, thank you for keeping the law.
Right.
Go ahead and click on equal.
Equal. Okay.
Go ahead. What's it mean?
Yeah, I got it. 1580s for the verb. Compare, liken, consider as equal. Obsolete. That's also match, rival, become equal to, from equal, adjective.
It's weird. Read the bottom one.
Late 14th century. Identical in amount, extent, or portion.
So Adam with perfect sizing and measures, right? 20 kinds of vinegars in the store. That's equality. That's equity. That's why money is an Edom, right? uniform, identical. That's them. Mass production. That's the Industrial Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So the Industrial Revolution is equity.
Mm-hmm.
Friendly, kind, marketing, smile on the hostess at the restaurant. The customer is always right.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's the deification of equity.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Calm, tranquil. How do you have order at Applebee's? Everyone's the same.
Yeah.
You got your booth, you got your salt and pepper shaker, you got the cute little waitress smiling at you and flirting, making you feel comfortable, right? You're a disgusting looking guy, but she's flirting with you, right? How's that possible?
Right.
Everyone feels exactly the same about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll get in trouble if she doesn't. It's got the uniform, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you have the calm, tranquil thing. Right? So, wow, this really explains the left-wing liberals. Everyone always says, why is this whole thing about equality, And the left is now saying that we're all equal. And you got these pundits on the right side saying, oh, they're just jealous about – it's equity.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying this is how you run a country.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this really blows the water off of what's the name of that guy that runs the radio show, the Jewish guy? What's his name?
There's a few, right?
What's that guy's name? Come on, he's one of the hottest guys out there. What's his name?
A talk radio show?
Yeah.
I'm
I'll tell you who it is. Look him up.
blanking on that. I don't know.
He's a Jewish guy from New York in the 60s. What's his name? Everyone likes him now. Yep, he's like a pundit.
Hold on. Dennis Prager?
Yeah, Dennis Prager.
Okay.
So Dennis Prager had a whole thing about why the left is so into equality.
Mm-hmm.
Anti-West. Well, according to this, he's an idiot. This is how do you run a country with equity? Right? Right. He's saying the wrestling tournament that praises your kid for beating up every other kid is stupid. And it is stupid. Look what it does. It's exploitation. I mean, what does he really get, that kid? I am now the American champion wrestler. I made all of you look stupid. What did that really serve?
Right.
I got a shoe endorsement. I'm great. You suck. Now, let's look at the other picture. We have a tournament for the sake of having a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go to an advanced tournament, then hold an advanced tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It actually sounds like a better system.
Yeah, it does.
And look, if I feel that after beating up a bunch of kids that are beneath me, then I will, if I have the guts, I will go to a higher level tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happens if I don't ever go to that tournament? Then that's my choice. Not a big loss. Right. If I regret it later in life, I'll have to realize why I chose to not challenge myself in wrestling. And you know what? If I work hard enough, I'll get a good answer.
Mm-hmm. Because
wrestling tournaments are on Saturdays. I did Chuva at 25, and I couldn't have been a famous wrestler anyways. You know what I'm saying? I think I see the left now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to understand the pathway to the left for the longest time. What they're saying is non-equity is stupid.
Right.
It's a rat race. It's a competition. I never saw that. No one ever saw that coming. Whoever said that the left challenges the right by saying it's not a match or a competition? Or if it is a match, it's let it be for the sake of a match.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, they're big into egalitarianism, right? The same concept. Everybody is equal.
Because there's no point in not being.
Right. I understand that in terms of legal systems and even culture to a certain extent, but does that reflect the actual nature of people? Some people have certain talents that others do, right?
Well, I think this is saying you can be better than me, but do you have to get a diploma saying you're better than me?
Right.
You know, it's well, Jordan Burroughs is the greatest wrestler in American history.
Okay.
You know, the blog post saying, "I'm going to go for my second Olympic gold medal in Rio, and just know everyone that fell short of their dreams, I'm doing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're all part of the same community." You want to hear the honest to God truth? As much as I'm embarrassed to say this because I'm against left wing stuff until now, I really believed in what he said.
Okay.
I do. I would love to have been a gold medal wrestler, but I didn't. And I'm okay with that. And I really am happy that America's doing it with people that had the bracha to do it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And he's saying, I'm not better than you. I had the mazel and bracha to live the dream that no one else had. You know what?
Right.
I applaud you.
Mm-hmm.
He's not here saying, I'm better than you. I beat all of you. That's what Michael Jordan said. Who really is the true champion now?
Mm. Right.
I think this guy.
Right.
You know, I don't read Michael Jordan's blog posts. Does he even have one?
I don't know. I have no clue.
That's what I'm saying. It's just I think it's a good attitude. But like every system, it requires wisdom to implement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why it's King Solomon's Torah.
No, I don't. I mean, regardless of what people say, especially in America, I don't see that really operative in the culture here. And why do you think that is? I mean, it is very stratified.
What do you mean?
People, they, you know, if it's natural or not, but they leverage their talents or their connections and whatnot to get into like a better situation than other people.
Right. I think the left is saying to the right, why does it have to have an attitude of inequality? It's the attitude.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying, the truth of it is, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be a trash man because there are trash men out there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Right.
It just means stop being a jerk about it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. I think they're not communicating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the right paints the picture, you know, now you want to send all my money to everybody else that's not doing anything.
Yeah. That's the classic line. Sure.
Yeah. But I think what they're saying on the left is just don't be a jerk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that gets perverted because then it's woe is me, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where their altruistic sense is coming from, you know.
Yeah.
So again, it's like it's the essence of Edom. And read again the last definition.
Identical in amount, extent, or the definition, or the identical in amount, extent, or portion.
See that's communism.
It is, yeah.
Keep going.
Even or smooth of surface, from Latin equus, uniform, identical, equal, from equus, level, even, flat, as tall as, on a level with, friendly, kind, just, fair, equitable, impartial, proportionate, calm, tranquil.
Proportionate's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Very subtle, man.
Which is of unknown origin, parallel formation, eagle.
This is saying that you have to be a king with the wisdom to judge.
Mm-hmm.
And Marxism just won't get it done. Because Marxism can be capitalist or communist at any given moment.
Exactly. I mean, the definition of that comes from Marxism.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is Adam to a T for the best and worst parts. You know? So now let's look at the definition again. I guess now we see fairness or justice, the way people are treated. That's what that means. You get it. Now the financial part doesn't make sense. Go back to the etymology and see if we can see the law part and the land part. Do you see it in there? An equal?
From equal?
In the equal definition.
I don't see it referenced really. Not in etymology.
I think I do. You want me to tell you a Kiddush?
Yeah.
How do you know when you have an equitable piece of property? This comes from the Talmud. You should know.
Okay.
You've removed the trees, the stumps, and the rocks, and it's a right piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
That's equity. Which means, is your dodgy, overgrown, forest-ridden acre worth, is that equity?
I guess not. No.
There's something called edis, which is the good land.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered, what does it mean, good land?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what good land means. It's ready to go. That's what America is. It's the good land.
It's ready to be utilized then.
That's it.
No obstructions.
It's not a wasteland. Israel was a wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Chiddush of Israel, is it's a wasteland that can be built into a promised land. And that's the actual physical properties of Israel. Tel Aviv can prove that already.
Right.
But America is the good land. England was the good land too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's equity. That's what equity means in terms of the land. You have land ready to go. It's real. Now let's go back and look at the definition of equity and land. See if it fits. Go ahead. Exactly. The debts that remain are paid for. See? That's it.
You're right.
Your trees and stumps, those are called debts. Right? You say I say I want to get something from you. You say, what do you have? I say I have an acre of land.
Mm-hmm.
You say, is it ready to go? I'm like, yeah, you got to get rid of some trees and stuff. Hey. You get rid of the trees and let me know when that's done.
Right.
That's like the original bank deal.
Right.
And look, you want stock. I give you debt. Now, is that really what stock? Is that equity?
No.
Yeah. It's a company that has debt on it. No. This is where debt comes from. That's fantastic, isn't it?
I've seen that all the time. Again, a lot of the stuff that I do for work, you encounter, parcels of land that they might be 50 acres, but they have 1 acre that's usable, Right.
Or how about this? I'll give you land. It's next to Hollywood.
Right.
That's bias. You're trying to sell me that it's next to Hollywood.
Right.
Prince Charles once was on this land. Okay, great.
But it's unusable and you can't build anything on it.
That's it. This is the essence of economics, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Wow, this is really good. And so the legal doctrines, where does equitable come in? Let's look inside equal for the equitable the equitable doctrines. Basically, no one fair judging. You're a rich guy and a poor guy are the same guy. I mean, this is Rashi in the Chumash.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go back in your browser and look at equity. Read equity again. We should see if it fits. Go ahead.
The first definition
of equity. Go back in your browser.
I got it. The value of a piece of property after any debts that remain to be paid for subtracted.
And the etymology.
Oh, okay. Quality of being equal or fair, impartiality in dealing with others.
There it is. Your judges have to view the poor guy and rich guy the same.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Quality of being equal or fair. Look, you want to give me 50 acres of land, only 1 is usable. That's not fair.
Right.
You're trying to rip me off.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really good. So now let's look at our image again. Go ahead and read the English on the screen. And I don't want you to translate equity. I want you to describe equity when you get to equity. Go ahead.
To receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and impartiality in dealing with others.
That's it. I mean, isn't that what it comes down to?
Yeah.
To receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and how to do that thing. This is telling the king you have to know how to run a country.
And
you have to know how to run the world.
Is it that's the Meishaarim?
That's Meishaarim, yeah.
Meishaarim.
So let's see what Rashi says. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
He Hifrasha derech chelek umishor shaveh. You're making you. This is great. Separate separating by the way of a portion that's fair and equal, this one for that one. Is that great or what?
There you go. Yeah.
Nobody will translate Meishaarim that way. Nobody.
Huh. Right.
Nobody. Nobody.
Huh.
So except for the guy in this picture, it translated as equity.
Right.
Your guy was fairness. So that was, I guess that's all right. But in terms of the way Rashi described it, no one would guess that. Mitzudas David, Bedavar Hamidis Noheges Ha'adam. In a way of the character traits and guidance of a true man. This is spot on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is the Torah equitable? 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. Let's now see the real litmus test is the Aramaic. Makabla Medusa Sulchla V'Tzechah Dina V'Tritsusa. Let's look up that word. You know what I just realized? Tzedek, Mishpat, and Meishaarim are Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet.
Okay.
Which is the basis of Pirkei Avot and that whole teaching.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, just by looking loosely, Tzedek, like we said, it's like the good, true, it's good. Mishpat, not that one. And Meishaarim it's all good. So let's look up this word, Tritsusa. I've never seen that word in my life.
You have an Aramaic dictionary?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's Ritsusa or Tritsusa. Grammatically, let's see. How do you spell it again? Tritsusa. Yeah, there it is. Tritsusa. Straightness, uprightness. Straightly. Straight, upright. A kingdom of righteousness. So it's got to be straight and upright. Okay? But I don't know what upright means. Let's look. I don't know what upright means. Let's see. I have no idea. Do you know what upright means?
Honest. Position to be straight up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, all these words in the English language are these kind of words.
Always behaving in an honest way, having high moral standards.
Wait, go back to the beginning again. Go ahead.
Always behaving in an honest way, having high moral standards.
There's an earlier one. Go ahead.
Oh, position to be straight up?
Position to be straight up. So stop calling me a monkey. That's it.
Right.
Don't be a monkey and don't call me a monkey. As stupid as that sounds, that's actually what it's saying.
Other thing, it used to describe something that is tall rather than wide.
Right. I am a man. I am not, whatever else.
Right.
Go ahead.
So it's either, okay, so the other one's perpendicular or vertical.
Wait, always behaving in an honest way.
Having high moral standards.
Yeah.
So it's either about posture, upright in posture, or, like they say, moral rectitude.
Yeah, you have no right to call me a monkey.
Right.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So upright is not really righteousness. It's high moral standards. It's fear of heaven. It's don't use an improper weight. Because you're trying to rip me off because you think I'm an idiot because you think I'm a monkey. It always goes back to I'm a monkey. See what I'm saying? When I'm lying to you about the vinegar, right? I'm calling you a monkey. At the very bottom of the whole story. And then you'll use science to prove it through evolution. This is how we lie to ourselves.
Right.
Go ahead.
Perpendicular, vertical. Erect in carriage or posture.
This is why God made man stand tall. This is why he made monkeys, because they don't stand tall. Mm-hmm. It's a mazel revelation from God. You know? Why didn't we crawl? Why didn't we slide? Why did the snake slide?
Right.
The person of the snake, he is not a man.
Mm-hmm.
He is not of high moral standard.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Keep going.
Having the main axis or a main part perpendicular.
Yeah, the covenant. I mean, this is what makes man is the main part. It is upright.
Marked by strong moral rectitude.
Okay. So straight, and so if you're, and this is like, it's like a 3-dimensional graph. If you're upright, you walk straight. If you're not upright, you slither.
Mm-hmm.
Like zigzag.
And there is the correlation between being standing up straight and being moral.
Right. When you have upright character traits, you are straight with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Right.
So you can identify the real man.
Mm-hmm.
If he makes you feel like a monkey, he's not a real man.
Mm.
If he acts like a monkey, he's not a real man.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not seeming moral, you can know he's not being straight.
Mm.
Do you have any more of this in the store? No, it's the last one. Right? You know that I'm being a little shady, so I'm not straight with you.
Right.
You can call me on it. You have the wisdom to call me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, what? You call me a liar? Yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm.
100%. So this is how Solomon was able to judge. He knew the algorithmic points of search.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He had Google search in his mind. Are you saying I'm a monkey? So let me guess, you're not being straight with me. I mean, it's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's probably close it there. I think we're done with the word equity. That was pretty good.
All right.
So next week we'll see what to do, what word to do. We'll leave it on this note. What word do you want to do next week? Let me look at the Hebrew.
From the same verse?
Yeah, we're going to finish the verse eventually. But we did Meishaarim very well. So, Lakachat Musar, Seichel, Tzedek, Mishpat. To take wise counsel or instruction, Tzedek and Mishpat. I think we should do Tzedek and Mishpat, and then at the very end do Lakachat Musar, Seichel.
Okay.
In fact, let's do Mishpat, then let's do Tzedek, then let's do Seichel, then let's do Musar, then let's do Lakachat.
Okay.
It just goes. Right? Mm-hmm. Because Seichel describes Musar. Musar describes take.
Mm-hmm.
We could have started with that, but then the last 3 words describe the Seichel. So we actually did it just right.
Okay.
So if you want to make a note or whatever, we start with the word Mishpat next week.
Mishpat. Okay. Very good.
Let me just read one more thing in the Moabim. V'shem zeh nofel bein al hayasher b'deyosav. He's being straight in his opinions and in matters of investigation. Meaning, when I come and ask you about the different tablets in the electronics store at Best Buy,
mm-hmm.
And I ask you what's the difference between the $300 model and the $400 model,
mm-hmm.
I want answers.
Right.
I don't want you to sell me the one that gives you commission.
Right.
I have needs, and I need to know, does this support, my whatever.
Right.
I need to know. I can't have you playing games for commission for non-equitable terms.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You investigated it. I know that you know this. You need to tell me that straight. Bain al hayasher b'maisev. Again, I don't want you just to see me as your quota. Bidvarim hamaisim, bain bidvarim shetacha sug chochma. Right? Don't out-wisdom me. Just because you work at Best Buy and you see that I have no idea, I want a tablet. My wife says I have to have one for my work.
Yeah.
Don't do this to me. Don't use your wisdom because you see I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
When I say is that like an Apple IIe? Right, don't make fun of me.
Right.
I don't know the computer. Yeah.
Intentionally confused based off the wisdom.
Right, and under Bina, understanding. Okay, when you see that I'm confused, I think that Apple and Samsung are the same. Don't just agree and say, yeah, it's all the same. Im sichlu ma'asav holchin al pi chokei al yasher. Im sichlu ma'asav holchin al pi. 1 second. Im sichlu ma'asav holchin al pi chokei yosher. You're a Best Buy employee. I want you to act like it. Now, I came to Best Buy because it's reputable. I had a good experience here, and I really don't need some attitude, right? Mm-hmm. I'm here because it has a name brand. It's Edom, right? It has equity. It's equitable. If I wanted to get ripped off, I would go to a pawn shop. I didn't go to a pawn shop.
Right.
The kizeh yelamed min mashalim ha'elu. And from this kind of thinking, you'll learn from these mashalim. Right? So this is really how he says how you get by in the world. Mm-hmm. You want to get the best service at Best Buy because it's an equitable affair and you're in equity. You're buying a tablet. This is how you do it. You literally judge by Chachma Bina Das. Like I said, Chesed Gevurah Tiferes. Mm-hmm. Are you? And then you plug in the guidelines. Are you trying to confuse me? Are you using your wisdom against me? Is your character traits match the name tag that you wear? Am I in a pawn shop? Where am I? Why did I go to a pawn shop? Am I in Best Buy? Am I talking to an expert? Am I talking to an idiot? All right, and don't lie to yourself. The guy's trying to rip me off, but I like it. Right? The girl doesn't know what she's doing, but I think she's cute. That's not good enough.
Right.
And you know what it's about? It's about equity and equality. You really don't deserve to be lied to because you think she's cute. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way. Like today, yesterday I went to the home store to buy a dustbuster. And the model that I had in my house broke. So I wanted to buy the same model. So I went and I saw the model and I wanted to buy it. And he says, we're out of that in the store. He says, but why don't you take this other one? I said, no, I want the one I have. He said, why? It's a good one. It works. It's good. I said, I want the one that I chose. Mm-hmm. Hey, why are you trying to convince me not the one that you're trying to sell me one half the price. Why are you doing that? You're puzzling yourself. You're telling me that you're no good. Right. And this is an Edom. It's an equitable system. I'm giving you money. See, we can all complain, money is the enemy, it's the devil, and I don't like money. That's actually not correct. God gave you 500 shekels to buy a dustbuster. You need to get the right one. Right. You're actually maybe doing a shtickle not good when you let this guy rip you off when you know he is, but you feel intimidated for him doing it. You're not executing according to this verse.
I agree, and they're not being straight with you. They're not being on the level. They wouldn't do that to somebody that they really cared about, right? So,
right. You have a mitzvah, you have a chiyuv on yourself to uphold the equitable system. See, when I see you getting ripped off, you ruin my faith in the equitable system.
Right.
You are currency. Just because you hold the shekels doesn't make the shekels actually outside of you. Right. We owe it to each other to uphold the integrity of the world and the system. Pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely. There seems to be something out of balance with all of that now in society. It's very, very clear. It just seems like it's just to fulfill the quota, or it's just to, everything's kind of broken down just to.
I'll tell you what it is. The wisdom is not being spread with all like the media players and devices. Mm-hmm. There needs to be Look, how much money have I spent on buying the wrong gadget? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
There really should be standardization about how to get what your needs are.
Right.
Because there's wisdom out there. It's not like it's not a gamble. You know, there's very clear wisdom drawn, and there should be an expertise of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
For the very sake of upholding equity and an equitable society. You know, it's not equitable to sell me a tablet that I don't need. It just isn't.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I might have to pay more than I want to. That's fine, but why would you sell me the wrong thing?
You need the information and the wisdom to get whatever you need to fulfill your needs. The best tool for whatever you need.
You only sold me the device because you're quota. You didn't even think or to care to ask me what my needs are.
Right.
That's like saying I need a car. Well, hey, did you ever think about a Ferrari? Well, no, actually I didn't. So, okay, do I really need a Ferrari?
I didn't have someone suggest that, but I honestly had someone suggest a Porsche once to me when I was looking for a car. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't need that.
That's it. I mean, I would be embarrassed to drive in Modine with a Porsche.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
Right.
There's Rabbi Katz and his two kids in his Porsche. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's interesting. It's like, you know, Edom does serve a function, and it teaches a valuable lesson, maybe the most valuable in the entire Torah it comes out, right? Mm-hmm. That makes sense that Esav would give us that lesson, but it needs Shlomo to do it.
Right.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Very interesting.
Yeah. All right, so that concludes this week.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the pasuk, but all right, we're good. So next week, God willing, Mishpat.